Today is the guest from the company that I think most of the people will know, because I think many people starting with drones is using those. We'll be speaking about it. So let me welcome Michael Bernatz. Hi, from DroneDeploy.
Hey
Hi.
guys, thanks for having me. Very excited for the conversation today.
Yeah. What's your position? Just introduce yourself like very quickly.
Yeah, of course. Well, my name is Michael Bernatz. Been with the firm about 7 years now. In the 13-year tenure of DroneDeploy, I currently manage the office out in London. We handle our European market from that office. So we have a small team that's spreading the good word of DroneDeploy across Europe. It's been a fun journey so far, and looking forward to many more years to come.
We like to say also that, or if you have something to it.
No, go.
We like to always say on the beginning, just say a few words and introduce the company as no one would know you. So
Yeah.
try to imagine that and try to tell us something about DroneDeploy.
It's a good question, and I feel like, it can go any which way, but really at its core, we're a visual data platform, right? And we're just, automating the ability to generate insight from drone data, from 360 cameras, or even phones on the ground.
It's now, but when I was referring to DroneDeploy as a company that everybody should know, it's because of one other feature. Like, because anybody that is starting with drone, I would suggest or suppose, is starting with your planning software, right?
Correct.
Mission
Yeah.
planning software.
Yeah, so that's really where we got our start, was the automated flight application, right? And so we made it incredibly easy for anyone that had a drone, typically a DJI type drone, to go out, plan a mission using DroneDeploy and execute that mission completely autonomously. So that's where we started back in 2013. And then along the journey, we generated and created our own proprietary photogrammetry engine, and then had some acquisitions along that path, which now has brought us here today.
But you didn't brought that point on the beginning. So does it mean that your focus is now turning to the other side, or do you still have that as equal parts? Or?
Yeah, great point. I would probably say, our primary focus is around automation, right? And that's automating the flight capture, or whether you're using dock drones or robots on the ground. So supporting all types of hardware for data collection, automating the data processing of all types of data formats, and then giving insight to that data as well through an automated fashion. And then, of course, integrating that to other systems as well outside of the DroneDeploy platform.
What do you think made DroneDeploy so famous, like at the beginning? What was that planning mission app, or?
We hear this often, but sometimes it's simplicity. It's an easy to use application that can generate really accurate data. And I think if you can appeal to so many individuals, it can gain a lot of traction. So I think probably the simplicity or user experience is probably where we
you
gotta
will hate
start.
me for this, but I must admit, like, I'm one of those who has been using DroneDeploy for years just for that one part.
Yep.
I don't remember if I have ever paid like €1 or $1 for
Yes.
for the any addition to that. But I've been using always the mission planning.
The flight
feature, yeah,
application.
yeah.
It was it's always been, a free application to capture data. But a lot of the enterprise value we see is with the actual data processing and then the insight you get from that data.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So here would be a good point to mention that it's not about only data capturing, but it's data processing, right?
Exactly that.
So this is great to share with people. Are you doing the processing everything on clouds? And
We're complete cloud software. Yep. So scalable, cloud-based, completely automated in the processing. So you go out, capture that information. We have a smart uploader where you can drag and drop all the data that's captured from the drone flights or your 360 cameras if you're not using the mobile application. And then from there, it's going to be automatically processed within your organization or your project in DroneDeploy.
do you have to go through some storage on your computer or SD cards, or can you upload directly while capturing?
Yeah, while capturing. That's a great question. So for the drone side of things, we do have a mobile upload, so you can actually upload in the field if it's a smaller project there. And then, usually for a larger project, a few hundred images, we'd recommend taking out the SD card. But what's great about that uploader is you can actually drag and drop all media files, whether that's, 360 panos or video files or still photos, directly into the smart uploader. it will parse it out automatically and then process the data. From the ground side, if you're using, a 360 camera to walk around a job site or walk around an asset facility, you can use a mobile application. So you connect the camera to the mobile application, you press start, you press end. You essentially then upload the data directly from your mobile device when it's connected to internet, like Wi-Fi.
Have you already implemented the 3D Gaussian splatting, or is it on the roadmap?
Yeah, another good point. We are.
We're good in this.
You are. I know. Love to hear it, and definitely the trends, right? So we do have a beta version of an output using Gaussian splats. I think it's the next phase of high accuracy visual information. But of course, the point cloud at the end of the day, or the high accuracy data that's underlying that information is going to be the most valuable.
It's just one thing I actually noticed, because I was doing this mission of a bit bigger land. So, like, main thing I did was like this crosshatch mapping with the nether images and few objects, like only like surrounding. But what I noticed when I was trying to process it with the Gaussian splatting is that it's not enough. So my question is whether you are already considering, or you will consider it after this talk, to create like specialized mapping feature or planning feature in the app, especially with the thoughts about the Gaussian splatting and how it needs the data to be captured.
Yeah, so at the moment, you're right. The current flight application is set directly to doing crosshatch missions or oblique missions through DroneDeploy. So we're focused more on photogrammetry on the capture side. There could be a potential to incorporate additional automated flight applications through the app there to maybe enhance Gaussian splatting outputs. But we are looking into also the other side is, a lot of Gaussian splats might be produced in other platforms, but having a central platform to at least view that information could be very valuable. So we're incorporating like a PYL upload and the ability to view that data all in DroneDeploy, even if it's not processed within the application.
I think we have seen this with several companies, like the era of everybody trying just to lock their solution and to be enclosed. Like this has ended like maybe a few years ago. So is this like real strategy to be open and to just collaborate with as many companies as possible?
I think it's the right approach for today's market, right? There's a lot of different point solutions out there. However, any enterprise buyer or large organization, where they have all these siloed data lakes essentially of information, they need it to communicate. So companies are putting that into focus and identifying which platforms can speak to each other, and then how do you get the most out of it, right? So I absolutely believe, I think that the open platform approach, drawing users in, but also giving them the ability to use that data elsewhere is quite valuable. Are you guys seeing that as well?
I think yes. I think it comes from the idea that there's so many solutions that trying to keep somebody within just one brand and within just one pipeline, it's almost impossible. Like we've been speaking to guys that have a scan-to-build company, right? And they are using Leica, they are using Faro, they are using Navis, simply because every technology is for different cases. And if they want to make their clients happy, they need to be working with different brands and different technologies, right? So it's the same with the DroneDeploy, for example.
Yep.
You cannot expect somebody to be working only with DroneDeploy. You're simply expecting them to process some data also, I don't know, like in Reality Scan or any other software, just because they have some different features or some different pipelines or workflows. So it just makes sense to be open and to be more in a position of complementary software rather than a competition, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I almost see a little bit of like, that point you just brought up about the different use cases. Of course, it's a different tool for every use case there. It's an interesting topic around, scalability or standardization within an organization. We see that as a big pain point in a lot of large companies.
Feel free to disagree with me. Like
no. I'm right in line there. But I think standardization is a big topic, right? Because it can drive some commercial benefit. However, Yes, it's a different tool for different use cases as well.
Exactly that. I just wanted to also like agree with you in this, that opening the possibility to continue working with those data, it's like very important. And if I look at also from like my perspective or like my company perspective, many times we are creating some interactive applications where we need to get the data back and we need to be able to work with them further. Otherwise, I can't use the software where the data are locked. So this is great, great point, I would say, this way. Before that, I had actually like one question which brings us back where we already were. But speaking about 360 images, because this is also a big part of like photogrammetry processes. People want to have 360 images because you collect the data faster. But many times you have issue with processing. You mentioned that you are focused on automation. Is there anything how you are guiding people to collect correct data with the 360, or just let them do whatever they want and then you believe in your software that it processes correctly?
Yeah, I guess I have a quick question on that. And do you mean in like the life cycle of like a typical like survey building or
like a combination of the data? Could be a survey building where you run with the mobile lidar with SLAM, and then you have like 360 on top,
Yeah. Yeah, so I think, going back to probably, your question earlier around like what has made DroneDeploy successful in the beginning, it's simplification of the capture, the data processing. Like that's a big focus for us, especially when, a lot of our end users might be in the field, they might not have great connectivity. So how can they just get the answer from that information? With 360, we've taken that approach. Back in 2022, I believe it was, we acquired a company called Struction Site out of the US, which was a leader in 360 data capture, data processing. And now we've integrated that to the DroneDeploy platform, right? So we do aerial and ground. I think getting to your point though, of course, these cameras have been developing quite significantly over the last few years. And so we're seeing better and better data outputs from the hardware side, which is really exciting. It kind of reminds me of like using a Phantom 3 back in 2016, 2017. And now you can see really high accuracy maps with an M4 or M3E with RTK, right? So I think the hardware is going to only get better. Our processing hopefully is going to continue to evolve, and then also augmenting that with maybe like better Bushman halo lights, right? So in low light areas, using light to incorporate that for documentation purposes or better data output.
Where I was targeting was that I'm like myself providing a lot of trainings to people, like how to like collect the data, how to process the data, different softwares, hardwares. And many times what you see in the market is that people are struggling with the information about how to collect data properly. And therefore I was asking like whether there is something how you're leading people to collect the data correctly for your software, because that's many times very useful. So but maybe it's processing that well that you don't need it, but that would be my my approach.
No, you're absolutely correct. I mean, a big piece of any engagement that we do is around implementation, training, onboarding, right? We're only as good as our clients and using our technology. And so, we focus on making sure they're getting the most out of that from a very early stage, and then continuing to build. I think when they're actually capturing the data and they can see it on a screen or over a Teams meeting, it really comes to life. And that process then continues to follow, right? A bit of a flywheel there. But of course, training and implementation, we do see, and I'm sure you guys hear this as well, but it's time consuming to walk a site with a 360 camera or even sometimes fly a drone. So I think it's going back to that, how do we automate this data collection piece and then give those insights as well?
No, I'm always imagining like all the construction site people just wearing helmets with the 360 and capturing all the time, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it, but I was walking by back from the cafe over there, and they had a hard hat helmet with a few cameras embedded, and I was like, that might be the future of smart helmets.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Have I seen this on your LinkedIn profile, like the tagline or the headline? Like, I'm working for the best company in the world or something like that?
I probably should put that tagline. I don't think it's on mine, but it is a phenomenal company. I think we've won a few best places to work in San Francisco.
I think it was on a profile of somebody from the DroneDeploy, because
sure.
it's stuck with me in the head. So
Yeah. Been very fortunate. The company was founded by three brilliant guys, Jono, Nick, and Mike. Still in the business today. Very passionate about what we're doing with our customers and clients. And our market really does sit in the U.S. as we're a San Francisco-based firm, but of course now we have some regional offices across Sydney and Australia, serving our APAC region, and then also here out of London and supporting our European region. So yeah, great firm, great people, brilliant product.
What's there on your roadmap for next like 2 to 5 years or?
Yeah, so I think the next phase of DroneDeploy is really around intelligence, and you're seeing AI be the big buzzword, I'm sure, of this conference and the one before. But we just launched a new product, which is in closed beta, and it's around progress tracking. So identifying essentially automated insight to either your 360 data or drone data on a construction site at the moment. So really focusing on giving automated insight to the data that you're collecting on whether that's a quarry, whether that's a field, whether that's a job site.
Mm-hmm. Great. Nice. I was wondering one thing, like, how did you, I'm thinking about the process in your brain, like going from the mapping solution through processing, through data delivery, like, do you see like the end, like when you say, okay guys, we need to focus on this, we shouldn't be like adding new features, new like whole new pipelines of workflows, like, do you see the end, or do you think like you will be just adding more and more features in the future?
It's interesting because where we started obviously is not where we are today, but what we've built over those years is all based on client feedback, right? It's demand from our client, and I think there's been a vision of where this technology is going, and we've stuck to that vision, which is quite exciting. We are a horizontal platform. I think we'll continue to get more specialized, but there's also things that we won't do, right? We're really focused on the platform in driving value for our customers, and then I guess focusing on what they care about at the end of the day, whether that's in the AEC construction space, or maybe more handheld LiDAR scans, or integrating more technology into the platform as well from like different vendors. So I think that's probably where it's left a little mysterious, but continuing on that path of horizontal and probably drilling in to be a little bit more specialized over time.
You've mentioned a lot of things are built based on the feedback from the customers. Do you have a rough number of how many customers or users do you have right now? And maybe like based where they're like, is it US the strongest market?
Yeah, it's a great point. So these are public numbers, but over 5,500 customers globally. And we have a strong market in the US and expanding, in Europe here quite quickly, as well as across Asia Pacific in Sydney.
Great. Yeah, thank you very much.
Perfect. It was a great talk.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming and sharing this information with us.
Of course. Really appreciate it, guys. It's great to see you, and excited to see you in Prague next year.
Oh, perfect.
Hopefully.
Thank you very much.
Thank
See
you
you
very
there.
much.
Wonderful, guys.
Bye.